All right, I open up the Yamhill County Board of Commissioners formal session on June 12th at 10 a.m. We are going to stand for the flag salute, and I'd like to ask former Commissioner Leslie Lewis to lead us in the flag salute.
Flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. Commissioner King is absent today. It is prearranged. We're going to move on to item C, which is calendar session. Is there any changes?
None.
None?
And Chair, just a reminder, we haven't noted on the agenda, but there won't be a formal session next Thursday due to the holiday.
Holiday on June 19th. So our next session will be on the 26th. Thank you for that. D is public comment. If there's anybody in the audience who would like to give public comment, please raise your hand. If you are online, raise your virtual hand. Seeing none. Which brings us to item E, which is a presentation from the 2025 Yamhill County Fair Ambassadors. Come on down, ladies. Probably say it would be best for getting in the I'm not so sure.
Chair Johnston, Commissioner Starrett. It's my pleasure to introduce the 2025 Yamhill County Fair and Rodeo Ambassadors. We have Brianna Titular, Orion Byhart, Caden Christensen, and Quinn Johnston. Thank you, Commissioner.
Welcome. Thank you for coming, ladies. Do you guys want to go in order and kind of give us a quick summary of what you guys are going to do after graduation? Yes. Yep. Speak in the microphone so everybody online in the virtual world can hear you.
And say your name each time you change over, so we have that on record.
Perfect. My name is Brianna Titular. I'm from Dayton High School. After graduation, I am attending George Fox University in the fall in Newburgh. I plan on majoring in elementary education, which is super exciting. I'm so excited about it. And my minor is undecided at the moment, but I'm kind of leaning towards a minor in English.
Cool.
My name's Orion Gladhart. I also graduated from Dayton High School, and I plan on attending the University of Idaho in the fall to major in animal sciences with an emphasis on production and marketing, and then minor in ag business.
Fantastic.
My name is Caden Christensen. I graduated from Amity High School this year, and in the fall, I plan to attend Chemeketa Community College and eventually transfer to Oregon State University to get a major in ag business and a minor in animal science. And I'm very excited to begin this next part of my journey.
Nice.
My name is Quinn Johnston. I also just graduated from Dayton High School. I will be attending Chemeketa Community College this upcoming year, and I'll also be taking a Chemeketa class this summer. I am unsure what career I want to follow yet, since I am younger than these girls, but I would like to just spend a little bit more time trying to figure out what I want to do, since it's such a big decision.
Fantastic. Commissioner Sarah, do you have any questions for them?
I do. First of all, I felt very honored to be on the interview committee to get to meet all of you, and was very impressed with just the totality of your commitment, your work ethic, your study habits, your extracurricular activities, just your and your commitment to the community. That was very impressive. Gave me renewed hope in the next generation. It was really very exciting. The question I would have for each of you is, if people hear about all your different accomplishments, and they are many, and we could sit here and spend 10 minutes just listing everyone's accomplishments and the awards and the certifications and the accolades, the extracurricular activities, what would you tell young people who maybe look at this and think, I could never do that, achieve that. And I could also never be comfortable speaking in front of a group of people because that's just not something I'm naturally comfortable with. How did you address that? And how would you encourage other people to just get over it and get on and do your best work?
Quinn, go ahead and start.
I would tell them, I would explain to them that I am also definitely not a public speaker. This is extremely nerve-wracking for me. But I have definitely had some times where I've had to overcome that since public speaking is a natural part of life. And I know it's going to be a big part of whatever career I want to follow, since I really like working with people. And I would just explain to them that it's okay to mess up. It's okay to forget what you want to say, because I've definitely done that before. And yeah.
Kaden?
I would tell them that public speaking is definitely something that some people are born with and some people are not born with. But the more that you put yourself in a position where you're forced to do something like public speaking, the more experience you'll get and the better you'll become at it. And I also believe that everything is about perspective. So if you look at it as an opportunity and not an obstacle, then you open up your mind to all of these amazing opportunities where you can communicate with other people and make an impact wherever you go.
I would really just tell them to take any opportunity they can. Public speaking doesn't come naturally to many people, but the more you do it, the more often you're put in uncomfortable situations like public speaking and just talking to important people, the more you'll get used to it and the more confident you'll become over time. I think it's just really important to put yourself in situations you're not comfortable in. That way you can just grow as a person and grow your skill set to become better every day.
Something that I would tell somebody when they're feeling a bit uncomfortable with public speaking was I would kind of tell them a little bit of a story about myself. I've definitely grown into, not to brag, but a pretty decent public speaker. My freshman year, terrified. I would never do a lot of my accomplishments come from the FFA, and a lot of stuff in the FFA is public speaking and doing several different events where you're speaking to judges, you're speaking to a group of people. I did not do that my freshman year. I disliked public speaking. I disliked going out and trying new things just for the fear of failure. And I think that's what a lot of people feel when they come across public speaking is, well, what if I forget it? What if I stutter? What if I get nervous? Kind of telling them my story of how I was once in their shoes and how I disliked public speaking. I disliked going out of my comfort zone into trying new things, and even the littlest steps, they do matter and they do add up in the end. Just to who I've become now, being a fair ambassador and being in all my positions in the FFA, and kind of showing them that the stepping stones, they may be small, they may be bigger than others, but they really do matter in the end. And just going out and above what you normally would be doing is just a smaller step. So just trying new things and just go for it.
Nice.
Good advice. Thank you all.
So I got a two-step question for all of you, and we can start with Brianna. I'm curious of what you're looking forward to as your favorite aspect of the fair and rodeo, and also one thing that you would change of the fair and rodeo.
That's a good question. I think my favorite part, or what I'm looking forward to, is how many people I'm gonna meet and the connections that I'm gonna have with everybody. I was a Derby Days ambassador last year, and so just the smaller connections that I met with everybody within the Yamhill community was crazy. There's so many different people that I've made connections with and that I'm now friends with throughout all the different events that we got to attend, including some of these people over here. And I'm excited to meet a bigger range of people. Yamhill Fair Ambassador is definitely on a larger scale than Derby Days Ambassador. So I'm excited to go out to different events I've never been to, different communities I've never been able to communicate with. I definitely like to talk to people. So that's probably what I'm most excited for. Something I could change? That's a hard question.
It could be even adding your favorite food booth or to the.
Maybe we
If
get
I'm
to go to
prompting.
we get to go to lunch after every event. Maybe that's what I would add.
Okay.
Something a little bonding with all of us. Maybe we all go to lunch. That would be mine.
Orion.
I would say, like Brianna, I'm very excited for just the wide variety of people I'm going to be able to meet and the impact I'll have on our community. I think it's really exciting to be the person that other people look up to, and that, you know, you can wave to little kids in parades and they can say, I want to be that one day. I want to be a fair ambassador one day. I think that'll be really exciting to just get to experience. Oh, again, the hard part too is a little hard, but I would say just maybe a few more bonding opportunities for the four of us would be kind of fun, just outside of where we have to be very public and very just present in the activities we're doing. If we had more opportunities to get closer together, I think that would be really nice.
Kaden.
I'm really excited to be a fair ambassador this summer because I also love talking to people, and I personally want to talk to as many people so that even as I make an impact on them, they can have an impact on me, because I want people to learn from me and to be interested in what I'm doing. But I also want to expand my horizons and meet all of these other people that will help me grow into somebody completely different, because I just know more about what's going on in our world. And I think that's actually really important for people to expand as much as they can. So I'm excited to talk to people just as much as I'm excited for people to talk to me. And then something that I would change is probably more horse events, because
Oh.
I love horses.
All right. Quinn.
I would say I'm most excited to really promote the fair as much as possible. I want to bring more people, even from outside Yamhill County, into the fair, like the St. Paul Parade. I know St. Paul isn't technically in Yamhill County, but I would like to be able to talk to a whole bunch of people there and just really tell them what we're all about, and hopefully they tell their friends and word spreads from there, and then we have a whole lot more business. The one thing I would change about the fair, it's honestly a really big thing, but I think that we've been kind of leading up towards this, and it might be a smart move in the future. I think it would be a great idea if we relocate, since the area that we are at, we're just outgrowing it. We are expanding so much. We've got so many new events. And if we want to add more horse events, this would be a great thing for us, especially since what I said about bringing more people from outside Yamhill County. With more people come more cars. And our parking lot is small. Like, not small, but not big enough. And also, I was thinking across from where we are located right now is apartment buildings. And I'm sure that those apartment buildings would love to expand, which would then create more affordable housing for people in McMinnville, which is a town that is constantly growing. And I've had ideas for where to move it, but I think that moving it back to somewhere rural where there's also a ton of space, just really bringing it back to the roots, since it's a country fair. Thank you.
That's a really good idea, Chair.
She overhears somebody.
We should discuss that at some point.
My favorite aspect of the fair is the Oregon Dairy Women's Ice Cream booth. Every time I start seeing them set up, I just almost want to just wait until they turn the ice cream machine on. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you guys coming. Commissioner Sarah, did you have any follow-up questions?
No, I'm just so impressed, and I really appreciate former Commissioner Leslie Lewis. She just puts her heart and soul into this. I've watched this, well, let's see, 11 years now at parades, and how much you're like a mother hen, and you gather them under your wings, you make sure they get where they need to get, you take a million pictures, and you really care about this fair. So thank you for keeping that tradition alive.
Keeping it all organized.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ladies. You can feel free to stick around and watch the rest of the meeting, or you can go on with your day. Thank you very much.
Very much. Thank you, Carolee.
All right. That brings us to item F, which is department updates. There is none. G is our work session. There is none. H is the consent agenda. I would move approval. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes with Commissioner Starrett voting aye and Commissioner Johnston voting aye and Commissioner King absent. Do you want me to do that for everyone or is it still unanimous?
No, I don't think you have to. I think he has an excused absence for today, I believe.
Can I
Is that
still
right?
announce it as a unanimous vote or not?
No,
No, okay.
but you've got.
Just that it passes.
Majority voting in favor. Yeah.
Okay. Up next is old business. There is none. Which brings us to J is other business. J1 is consideration of approval of a board order in the matter of an increase in the fees charged for certain applications in the Department of Planning and Development. Fee increases effective July 1, 2025.
Chair, I would move approval.
Motion's been made. There's no further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to J2 is consideration of approval of a board order in the matter of an order to amend certain fees for functions or services provided by the Yamhill County Surveyor effective July 1, 2025. I would move approval. Is there any further discussion?
None.
None. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. Moving on to J4 is J3, consideration approval of an agreement for police services between Yamhill County Sheriff's Office and the City of Sheridan in the amounts of $642,030.48 for fiscal year 2025-26 and $655,039.80 for fiscal year 2026-27, effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2027. I would move approval. Is there any further discussion?
None.
None. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Up next is J4, consideration of approval of the proposed HHS behavioral health usual and customary rates, public health clinic rates, and environmental health fees for 2025-26, effective July 1st, 2025.
Chair, this is unanimously approved by the Board of Health, so I would move approval.
Any further discussion? None. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. J5 is consideration of approval of amendment number 3 to agreement number 180161 between Yamhill County and the Oregon Health Authority, OHA, Board Order 23-176, extending the terms of agreement to June 30, 2026.
Chair, I would move approval.
Motion's been made. No further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to J6 is consideration of approval of amendment number 1 to a contract employment agreement between Yamhill County Health and Human Services and Amy M. Thorkeldsen for administrative services, increasing the rate of pay to $39.14 per hour, not to exceed 19 hours per week, effective July 9th, 2025.
I'd move approval.
Motion's been made. Any further discussion? None. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Up next is J7. J7 is consideration of approval of an agreement between Yamhill County Health and Human Services and the Willamina School District to provide behavioral health counseling for the 25-26 school year, not to exceed $77,177.61, effective September 2025 through May 2026.
Chair, I'd move approval.
Motion's been made. Any further discussion?
None.
None. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Up next is J8, consideration of approval of an agreement between Yamhill County Health and Human Services and the Sheridan School District to provide behavioral health counseling for the 2025-26 school year, not to exceed $129,087.45, effective September 2025 through May 2026.
Chair, I move approval.
Motion's been made. Any further discussion?
None.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. J9 is consideration of approval of amendment number 1 to an agreement between Yamhill County Health and Human Services and the City of McMinnville for Behavioral Health Services, Board Order 24-078, retroactive to March 1st, 2025 through February 28th, 2026.
And I would move approval.
Motion's been made. Any further discussion?
None.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Up next is J10 is consideration of approval to submit a letter in opposition of the Oregon Department of Transportation's proposed tax increases. This is brought to us by Commissioner Sterrett.
Chair, I was looking at some of the testimony that was submitted for House Bill 2025, and overwhelmingly, the testimony was in opposition for a variety of reasons. This is going to really impact Oregonians and our constituents. There's an 11 tax transportation package increase. There are 2 more hearings. Believe there was one yesterday. There's one today at 4. And we're asking people to submit online testimony, and this would be submitted. There's a gas tax increase of 37%, and it would be indexed to inflation forever. Wage tax of 300% for the transit payroll tax. DMV fee, 62% car registration fee goes from $43 to $113. A DMV fee for driver's test goes from $45 to $111. A license plate fee, 175% increase, $12 to $33. Transfer tax on new cars, that's a 2% basically sales tax on new cars. It creates a new tax on used cars. Vehicle privilege tax, road use tax, and a charge for delivery vehicles, a company that has delivery vehicles of 10 or more. This would be absolutely catastrophic for already strapped budgets. So I'm hoping that I can get approval to submit this letter from our commissioners, and it would be 2 of us today.
Yep. I appreciate putting this letter together. I did give public comment on Tuesday night. We were supporting very specific aspects of House Bill 2025, and it was for them to prioritize the construction of the Newburgh-Dundee bypass. The funding mechanism on this is an absolute disaster. So I do appreciate you putting this letter together, and I will support it.
Thank you.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Motion, any further discussion? None? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. J11 is consideration of a request to transfer appropriation authority from Fund 440-103-0027-82001 to 440-103-0027-79500 in the amount of $359,993.33. Transfer will reduce appropriation authority in miscellaneous building remodel and increase appropriation authority in loan interest payment lines in Fund 440 for first payment on loan for land acquisition that is due June 2025.
Yeah, if there's any questions, I'm sorry that was so wordy. That's my fault. Just to kind of explain what Oregon budget law requires that when we set our appropriation schedule for the year, we have to appropriate debt services separately from general capital or other operating expenses. So all this function is doing is reallocating within the fund the necessary monies to the debt service. So we're compliant with Oregon budget law.
Okay. This is specific to the Yamhill County campus building.
That is correct.
Cool. I would move approval. Any further discussion?
None.
None. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Which brings us to K, public hearings. There is none. Moving on to L is announcements. Commissioner Sterrett. Or I can start also.
You want to go ahead? Go ahead. You can start.
Last Thursday was a COG meeting. We had executive board meeting, discussed budget items, basically 3 different options for raising fees and different steps of increases. No decisions were made, but there was just kind of a general consensus that we're probably shooting for a 10% increase on fees to recoup costs. Also, last Thursday was our Mid-Willamette Valley Council on Transportation. We discussed a letter to the Oregon Transportation Committee, which was going to list one major project from each region. Our region obviously would be the Newburgh-Dundee bypass. And to not make it super confusing, because we do have other safety transportation projects that we need done in our area, like McDougall's interchange and Yamhill or Lafayette Highway and Highway 18 interchange. We're going to add an exhibit attachment to the letter so that it doesn't distract from the main safety projects in each region, but then we will go on and list every single safety project for every region, and then also put a safety rating from ODOT with each one of those, so that it doesn't become overwhelming for the Transportation Committee. They know our point, but if they want and go through some extra reading and know exactly what we have going on in our area, they'll know the safety ratings of all the intersections. So I think we got pretty close on what our letter was gonna look like to Oregon Transportation Committee. Last Thursday was also a chat with the chair. It went very well. Great conversation about detox facilities, what it would look like, where they would be at, dog control, talked about transit. I just want to give another huge shout out to Captain Brown for being there. He's very supportive. He's been at every single one of them, and you can't imagine how much better the conversations are when you can get somebody from the public safety sector in there that knows and can pivot when somebody asks a question that's specific to it, that I would probably have to be like, well, you know what, let me go ask. But he is sitting right there. And it came down to somewhere during the conversation, we were wanting to know what the count or what the stats were for the deflection program. And he just within seconds had it pulled up, because they were just happened to be updated, I think, that day or the day before. So it's great to have them there. I encourage more people to show up. We have it at the Yamhill County Campus Building, first Thursdays of the month at 6 p.m. Last Thursday also was a planning commission meeting. They approved a zone change on the outskirts of Dayton. AOC full day Friday and Monday. One of the big takeaways for me, the fair, there's a Senate bill and a House bill that are going through to address funding for our fairgrounds. Right now we're capped with our lottery funds at a certain dollar amount, which I think is about 80,000, 53,000 from Oregon Lottery to our fairgrounds. Yeah, thank you. Thank goodness you're here. So before they were gonna remove the cap totally, which would be almost a 400% increase for our fairgrounds, which would be phenomenal. It sounds like they're gonna start settling. So it's still alive. That's the good news, but they're starting to put the screws to it, and it's gonna be more of a 50% increase. So still take everything that we can, but it's definitely the dollar amount shrinking. I'll let you fill in for the rest of the AOC stuff. That was I think, most important for me that I gleaned from. I think that was governance on Friday. Tuesday gave public comment, which I mentioned to the Transportation Reinvestment Committee on prioritizing the Newburgh-Dundee bypass in the House Bill 2025. And as we discussed, the funding mechanisms are a disaster. So I asked that they please come to a bipartisan approach to figure that out. Let's see. Also, I was able to, after giving public comment on House Bill 2025, I was actually able to make it back to and catch the last part of the McMinnville City Council meeting. They adopted their 2025 housing production strategy and voted to extend their downtown economic improvement assessment district. Yesterday, we all attended Miss Hannah's Popcorn early in the morning, 8:30. Probably one of the cooler businesses that I've toured. And they were flat out in production mode, and they were popping kettle corn in 3 different, I guess, cauldrons. And they showed us the whole complete process. Unfortunately, we weren't able to see. The reason we were there was we had grant funding to them to buy a conveyor that was going to make it more efficient for them to get popcorn from the sifting tables. After it comes out of the cauldron, it goes into the sifting tables to get rid of any seeds. And then it would go on this new conveyor from there up into the bagging machine. It's going to make them more efficient and be able to sell more product, make more product. And I thought it was super cool. And my bag of popcorn didn't last the whole day. No, Carolee didn't even get to see the popcorn. Oh, for sale. So they had 3 different packaging options now. And the way she was explaining it to us is so they have these little tiny ones that are like I just call them a corporate pack. You can get the little ones and they're like sample bags that you can buy and then hand out. They're good for, I think, 3 months in that bag. And then they had another bag that was good for 6 months. And then they had a Mylar that was just printed bag. So you can't see through it anymore. And that was good for a year on the shelf. And that all goes to the different markets that they've been getting into is the requirements. They have to have a certain shelf life for whatever store they're going into. So super cool how those guys are expanding rapidly, and great popcorn too. I always tell them that when I go in there, I'm always lifting the bags to see which one's the heaviest to get the most chocolate. They're all weighed out now. So it was all in my head thinking I was going to get the heavier bag with the more chocolate. Yeah, because they knew what I was doing. Yeah. I was going to say tonight is Lafayette City Council meeting, but I didn't know it. It was actually last night. So I got an update from the mayor. They did some attorney rate adjustments. They adjusted their SDC rates. They adjusted the rates for the city engineer. They renewed our Yamaha County Sheriff's contract, which was fantastic. And they adopted their balanced budget. And the mayor said, make sure that I mention that they are going to have a family-friendly town hall with representatives from our sheriff's office and the city of Lafayette for the community on July 10th. I don't know what time or place, but I can figure that out by the meeting on the 26th. Yeah, and don't forget next Thursday is Juneteenth, so we're going to be taking that off. There will be no BOC, and the next one's on June 26th. Commissioner Sterrett,
Is that it?
that's it.
Just want to piggyback on that, Ms. Hannes, and this was a perfect example of taxpayer dollars in the strategic investment grant, which actually helped a company. I think she said at some point they have 25 employees, at some maybe 8 or 9 working at the same time, but you've got local people, you've got a local product, and it's expanding to where it's now a pretty big market. So that was real impressive to see. A couple of things that happened last Friday was a special meeting of Oregon DOJ and counties. That's county councils, commissioners, and it had to do with the money that we get from Oregon Health Authority for our behavioral health grants. And it's become very contentious. In fact, coming up in a half an hour, there is a meeting because we could not come to an agreement. And it looks like a lot of the counties are pushing back and saying, we are absolutely not going to sign this as is. And there was no concession made. So they dug in their heels, and now we have a meeting. There's a meeting with the governor's office with the governor at 11 o'clock, and it's going to include some county councils, behavioral health, mental health department heads, and a number of commissioners. And they're going to come to a conclusion one way or another. Either the counties do not sign, and we are one of the ones that have at this point said we're not comfortable with the contracts as written. So we're working on that and hoping that today there's some movement on the part of the governor's office. CPRD, I met with Clay Downing and we talked about Ewing Young Park and the next steps. They're going to be reaching out to the neighbors to look at some ways that they can do more community outreach about the park there. We talked about the future of Crabtree Park and also want to give you an update on the Family Wellbeing Council. Happy to say that we do have a representative, which is Marla Cazares, who's been heading up Family Wellbeing Council. She's certified now to do safety. She's a certified child passenger safety technician, which is what the fire departments used to do. When you brought a car seat in, they would help you get it configured. She's now doing that and reaching out to families. There was also we had 140 of these plan packs, they're called. They're just little what do you call you put a baby, a child in a little playpen. That's the word I couldn't, they're now called play and
Pack
packs.
and play.
Pack and play. So there, we have 140 of them reaching out to
Wow.
local shelters and trying to figure out how we can make best use of that. Also Monday was AOC, HHS Legislative Board of Directors, and we had lots of things pretty much dealing with a lot of the stuff at the federal level with NACO. And we also got an update on some of the bills that are still in play. The ASA meeting yesterday, we did vote to give a variance for the Sheridan Fire Department so that they are going to be able to adjust their staffing so that they will be able to, well, they're in compliance now, but this is basically going to give them a little bit more leeway. So we made that adjustment at the meeting yesterday. And what else do we have? Unfortunately, the Oregon Health Authority has been held in contempt by a U.S. District Judge and is facing $500 daily fines because of the state of the psychiatric hospital. So that's on top of the fact that we're not signing these behavioral health contracts. So there's a lot of moving pieces there.
That fine seems so nominal. What is that per person or?
Yes, per
Oh.
patient, per day, for an individual that's left waiting beyond the deadline for required admission. So that could be a lot of people. And what are they're saying it could be somewhere upwards of $7 million a year?
Yeah, it sounds like somewhere between 35 to 40 people a day might be waiting, but I think those numbers fluctuate. But
Right.
yeah, it is $500 per person per day.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's significant.
I'll be meeting for the first time, new Representative Sue Reiki Smith, who was the new House District 26 representative, because there was a seat left vacant when Representative Courtney Neron was appointed to the remainder of Senator Wood's term. And I think I'm just going to stop there. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, thank you. Just as a quick update, Safety Fairs, 6 p.m. Lafayette Fire Department on July 10th. All right, that wraps us up at 10:37. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you.